Hello, my fellow parents. And Jordan, what's up? How you doing?
How's it going, buddy?
Let's record another podcast. But Jordan, this is not just any podcast. Did you know that?
Well,
This is
kinda.
not just
That's why I'm joining on with you. But what do you mean? What you're hinting at something? What do you mean?
This is not just any podcast, my friends. This is a podcast that, for some reason, I don't know how, just ranked number 15 on the Apple podcast list under family and parenting. We reached number 14.
Oh my gosh.
How is that
crazy.
even possible? We just got started. Our first few episodes, there were some problems in it, a little choppy, a little long at sometimes, and we reached number 14 on the charts.
That's unbelievable.
On the charts.
We surpassed the Holderness family, and those guys make some amazing content. I couldn't believe that. Seeing our picture next to theirs, I was like, this is cool. I just hope that we're helping people. It just shows us like the stuff you're talking about actually could work.
Well,
like,
really,
we're going to experiment here.
We are. That's honestly, it's like we're motivated. We're not making any money off this podcast. We're motivated by love, a love for you, my fellow dad, my fellow mom, my fellow parent in the grind. And we love you. We want your families to be close and connected. Let's be better than our parents. Let's raise awesome kids. It feels so good, but something that even felt even better recently, if you actually go to like the Apple podcast and you hit top charts and you go to family and parenting, you can see the top 100. Here's two things that are kind of blew my mind. I did a little Google search of how many parenting and family podcasts there are, and it took me some time to find it under that category. Take a guess. You'll never guess.
Like how many other podcasts are in this category?
Yeah. Like, what are we, number 15? Are we number 14 out of 50 in the world?
I was going to say maybe out of I don't know, how many do people do family podcasts? 500?
500 total? No, the number I found was 535,000.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Under the family category, there's that many people doing podcasts
535,000. Yes, I can show you the stat that's on my phone because I Googled it. I took a snapshot to show my wife. I was like, this doesn't make sense. That can't be that many. It doesn't mean they're maybe making regular episodes, but the part that's really the most heartwarming is that under the parenting and family category, you don't see a lot of pictures of men. You see a lot of women. So here we are, two San Diego bros up there with a bunch of super smart women. I don't know how we made it. It's not from our smarts. We got some super smart psychologist ladies up there.
Definitely
and I think we're giving equally great advice, if not even better than some of these super smart colleagues that have a lot of initials after their names. But really happy to be a part of this. And so also what's so heartwarming is I get these messages from people now on social media. Hey, Sean, listen to this, Jordan. This is from a dad named Marshall. I've been listening to your podcast and consuming all your videos on Instagram. Great stuff. Parenting a 10-year-old girl feels like she's 13 and a 7-year-old boy. Screens are a problem, but I work on my computer myself. Our whole lives are on screens. Anyways, it's been great listening to your advice. It doesn't sound judgmental, just a great approach to delivering info on parenting. Doesn't that just fill your heart with warmth right there?
That's so great. It's cool to see that from another dad too. I think with dads,
it is.
I should say this, with guys in general, we're less apt to share our feelings, to maybe compliment one of each other. We normally, if we're with a bunch of guys, we'll maybe insult each other, and that's a way of complimenting each other. Makes us know we like each other. But to hear someone with positive feedback, that's great.
We are there's so many men out there and women. We have a growth mindset towards parenting. We want to grow, and we're here to really become the best parents. Here's a nice message. I got so many. I just picked two. Here's a message from a woman named Poe Duncan, and she says a little story of the backstory. And she says, I'm listening to one of your podcasts about being patient and not forcing my son or trying to control the situation. I did exactly that. I also shared my emotions. That's what we're going to concentrate on today. How do we share our feelings in a way so our kids really hear us? I got some amazing, life-changing tips. And I'm not being weird. I really believe that the episode you're going to hear today is going to change your life. And if you do what I tell you to do, good things are going to happen. I mean, really excited to share this with you. So Poe is writing, I shared my emotions of being scared and hurt with him. Instead of grounding him for what he did, which is what I would have done in the past, he agreed and made some good changes, and I don't need to go into it. But isn't that's just a heartwarming story?
Yeah, and it's counterintuitive to what you think you should do, right? Something goes wrong, you want to react in a way that's whether it's grounding or punishing, and this is telling us to like forego all of that and try to actually share more of
Yeah.
an emotional experience with your child. It's so counterintuitive, but I've been practicing it and I can tell you it works from my perspective. And it sounds like it's working from their perspective too.
Yeah,
It
it
takes
is. I
time.
think counterintuitive. It just tells us about like maybe how what you said there, Jordan. I think it just says how we were raised. We put our faith in discipline, groundings, yellings, punishments. And what I'm doing here, what we're doing here, is we're asking you to really reconsider where you put your faith. Where do you
And I
put your
think,
trust?
well, yeah. And I was actually going to expand on that. Like faith, it's got to come down to faith because it's like, it has to do with almost like revenge. Like,
Mm,
what is it? An eye for an eye. Like,
mm,
you do this, then I will do this. And there are
yeah,
consequences if you do this, rather than turning
right.
the other cheek and saying, okay, keep going, but I'm going to let you know that what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah, we hope that punishing kids, we hope that really reaches the heart and creates behavior modification. We hope that sending people to prison, which we need prisons, obviously. I've got cool stories about working in prisons and volunteering in prisons, inmates and murderers and basketball players and all that stuff for 12 years to tell those stories. But yeah, what this is the focus on here, as we learn from all these super smart psychologists, is that we build into the attachment, we build in the connection, and we put our faith in that, and we try to avoid consequences. We try to avoid discipline at all costs. There's a time and a place for everything. And I'll have some episodes on how to do consequences and discipline properly. But I asked Instagram, hey, what kind of, I asked my Instagram community where I have 135,000 followers right now, which has been great. Thank you so much for those that are new that are following. Hey, what kind of videos would you like me to make? And I mean, I got so many. I got so many, I can't even read them. I got, here's one person saying, what do you do when teenagers don't stick to the agreed rules? Ed is saying, how do you get kids to build up their self-esteem? How do you respond to kids vaping, pot, school refusal, chores? What are some good books on how to help a kid going through a divorce? Give some tips for ADHD. How do you treat a teenager who has a bad attitude? I'll just take any advice. How do you improve sibling relationships? Hey, we have an episode we already did about sibling relationships. So, hey, we have a new Google Voice phone number. So if you want to be on the show, if you want me to answer your question, or if you want to do this new thing we're going to have, it's called Ask the Family Coach, where you can come and talk with me or talk with Jordan and I. Well, then go and call that Google Voice phone number. You can find that on my website at parentingmodernteens.com. Just click on podcast, call that number, listen to directions, and let's talk. Get some free coaching. But today we're really going to focus on something that's really, really painful. Gosh, man, we want our kids to freaking listen to us. It's like we say, do this and you should do it. Just obey, just cooperate, just come to the table, just do your chores, just do your studying, right? Why don't these kids listen to us, Jordan? What? It's so painful. Isn't it so annoying and so frustrating as a freaking
It's
parent when they
hard,
don't
dude.
listen?
It's so hard. Like, where are their manners? You try to teach them all of these things, and it's like you're not even trying. It's like you're not even there. It's like I ask myself, like, would it be better if I just wasn't here parenting this kid? Like, is there a way this kid would show up? But because what's funny is the reactions I get from my kids towards me and the stories I get from my kids' teachers, the way they treat them, are completely
So,
different. They're
so common.
actually more
So common.
kind and polite
Right.
to other
Right.
adults than me, their father
Yes.
or their mother. And it's like, where is this coming from? And I don't
My
know
gosh.
if they're testing. Okay, let's probably come up with a couple options here. A, they're probably testing the waters. How much can they get
Okay.
away with before they really get in
Uh-huh.
trouble? That could maybe be
Uh-huh.
a scenario.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you going to do if I test this boundary? Right. And so then us
Mm-hmm.
as parents have to ask, oh, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to, set a boundary with a hard punishment, whether that's physical? Are we going to
Right.
force them because we
Right.
want them to listen? Or do
Yeah.
we need to
Yeah.
figure out how to get them to want
Gosh.
to listen? That's the hardest part. To get them to
Oh,
want
internal. Yeah,
to do
internal
it.
motivation
Internal.
versus external.
So the
Or what do we do? Or there's a lot more options. Or do we people please them? Do we avoid them? Do we rescue them? Do we make excuses for them? Oh, they have ADHD. Oh, their dad's a
right.
narcissist. oh, they've gone through a hard time. I mean, that's just as equally what's happening nowadays as what you're talking about, right? It's just, please
Yeah.
continue. Tell me more thoughts on
Well, I mean,
what
and
is
I,
going
I
through our
think you're
heads
right. I
as
think
parents.
a lot of parents will avoid it, right? You don't want the confrontation. You don't want to think your kid is doing the thing that another parent is saying they're doing. And so,
Hmm.
you may commonly try to bring it up casually, and if they deny it, you're like, okay, I'm going to trust my kid. Why would my kid lie to me? But the reality is, maybe we have to go deeper. So I don't know
Right.
what your reason is. Look at my kids, and everyone knows me by now. I'm trying to figure out the why. But I think importantly, I want them to want to be respectful to others,
Yeah.
to
Well,
themselves,
that's
and
where
to
we're here.
me.
How
And
do
it
we reach
takes
their heart?
time. It's so
Right. How
hard.
do we reach their hearts? That's the key. No star chart, no punishment, no grounding, no taking a phone away, no spanking is going to reach their heart. Right. That's where the action is. That's what we're trying to do here is build that deep connection, that internal motivation. Here's part of my why. I realize why I'm here right now. I wasn't planning on saying this, but here's my why. Because we have a bunch of parenting experts right now that are just giving crappy advice. They're saying things like, home should be a safe place, a refuge for kids to let off steam. On the surface, that sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds nice and loving.
Yeah. Home's your safe place.
But these experts, they never talk about what the steam is. This steam
Or where the
hurts.
steam's coming from.
Have you ever put your hand in steam? Yeah, it burns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not fun.
Steam.
You
But
put a lid on a
steam,
pot that's boiling, the pot wants to blow off the top of the lid.
right? Steam. If one child is steaming, it can create a cycle of steam in the whole house.
Right.
And it can hurt. And then if you got all these experts, people saying, "Oh, you know what? Your daughter is just your daughter's going through a hard time. It's just you just got to really let her steam." Or your son is X, Y, and Z, and school is hard for him. Just let him steam. Like no one's talking about this message. Like you tell me, what is the downside of this message? You tell me. What are your thoughts?
The downside,
Yeah, putting you on the spot.
I can kind of relate this to society right now and just looking
Mm-hmm.
at different specific cities that are allowing, let's say, bad people to just blow off steam. And
Oh
it's causing
gosh.
huge problems. People are having to move from those cities. Businesses are shutting down from those cities because the steam doesn't know when to
Oh
stop.
gosh.
It's you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
continues to affect, okay, now I'm going to bring into meteorology. It affects other air particles, and these other air particles are getting hot, and then they're turning into steam, and then it's expanding. And so the problem is there's no threshold. So you let your kid blow
Mm-hmm.
off steam in the house, therefore it's bringing the negative energy into the house. You are impacted by that because their mood is going to affect my mood, and now this whole house is becoming toxic, and I don't
Steamy,
want to be here
steamy,
anymore.
toxic steam, dude, like a sci-fi movie. We all breathed in toxic steam. So instead of saying home is a refuge, kids will be kids. Let our kids, have a safe place for them to blow off steam. How about we say something like this instead? Let me see if I can write something. It probably won't be as catchy for like a Hallmark card. Um, home is a place of learning, and parents are teachers, and every home is a school. And home is a place of love and connection, and is a place where kids learn from their loving, connected parents on how to manage their steam, how their steam affects other people, and how to make corrections and mature and make amends when they do steam. How about that? That's a little long, but it sounds kind of
No,
good.
it makes sense. I mean, you are saying that it's okay to put that child or that attitude um, in a box or to pressurize it so that it could learn to be better. Like I'm trying to think of an analogy. This is off the top of my head, it's dumb, but like how are diamonds created? They're created by pressure. If you let that rock just blow off steam and not create pressure, not learn from it, it's just going to
Yes,
stay in its
sir.
same state.
Yes,
So you have to
sir.
actually bring the teaching to it so that it gets better.
My favorite word, well said. My favorite word for parenting is the word teaching. Whether mentoring, that our kids need us. We have wisdom and they do not. They need us. They don't just need us to be their friend or their protector or their enabler or their pamperer or their rescuer. They need us to be their teacher, to teach them the wisdom and how to thrive in relationships and the world and business and all those good things. But I have this is before we get to the main section, which we're going to get to right now, which is Ask the Family Coach. May I share with you my 3 theories of how we got to this, of why our kids don't really listen to their parents? And can I share that real briefly?
Please.
We won't go too deep into it.
I think everybody wants to know that. Why?
Okay, first point. This is what I've learned from research and by observing your sons and daughters and reading child psychology, parent dynamics. First one is we're always teaching people how we want to be treated. So why is it that in some homes the kids really disregard the parents? They don't listen to them. They don't seem to care for the parents or the parents' values or the parents' feelings. Well, their answer is because the parents have taught them that that's okay. In this home, here's how we do it. In this home, we show a lot of love and respect and kindness towards the kids. But in this home, you don't have to care for the parents' feelings. We're just like, you're allowed to be these great kids outside this house, but in the house, you're allowed to treat us like crap. This is a one-sided relationship, and we are okay with that. That's my theory number 1.
That's not good.
Right? Like, yeah, we want home to help them feel safe and loved. That's good. But this episode is not focused on helping your kids to feel safe and loved in the house. This is about how to get your kids to listen to you and hear you and see you. Number 2, I think, is probably the number 1 reason, even though number 2. Parents have dehumanized themselves. And they parent in a way where they just become these robots. Do robots have feelings?
Robots do not have feelings, Sean.
What do robots do, man? What do robots do?
They're machines. I don't know. What do robots do? They're there to please people, right? They're there to basically do what we tell them to do. They're on auto drive. Oh yeah, okay. So I got a robot vacuum. Turn that thing on, it cleans for me, but it's just doing.
Dude, that's seriously the best robot, though. The Roomba. Love that if you robot. Have hardwood floors with that Roomba, dude, those Roombas are dope, dude. Yeah. Robots have a job. But what I have found is that what many parents do is that they become good at caring for their kids' feelings, but then they have dehumanized yourself. My name is Mom. I am only good for heating up Hot Pockets and driving you to soccer. My name is Dad. I am just good for lectures and for telling you to study. My name is Mom. All I do is remind you to take your ADHD medication and telling you it's dinner time. How can I serve you today? This is super common, dude.
Intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic. Yeah.
Well, you ask yourself.
I mean, think about it. We go to work, we come home, everything's the same. We how's your day, kids? Great. Eat your food. You want to get on the iPad? Okay, then you got to go to soccer. I mean, we're all on overdrive. It's probably like we're just so exhausted from the day. We don't have time to put in energy for these kids, even though that should be the number 1 thing we should be doing.
Well, that's what we're trying to focus on, is how we're going to solve this problem. I want you to ask yourself, anyone listening, have your kids seen your humanity? Have they seen your heart? Have they seen your broken heart? Have they seen your sadness? Now, I know they've seen your anger. I know they've seen your yelling. I know they've heard your pep talks. But are you just a yelling robot? Are you a dad robot and all you're good for is just yelling and cheesy talks? Are you a mom, worrier, and all you're good for is worrying? Or that's how your kids see you. You're just this constant robot, just stuck in this routine. And if you are seeing that, if you're shaking your head up and down to this, it means good news. You've acknowledged this is happening and you can change it. And how we change this is you've got to show your kids your humanity and help them to see your heart and hear your heart. That's where we're going to go with this episode today.
Yeah, but our parents didn't do that. I mean, just thinking in general, our parents didn't do that. Our great-great-great-great-grandparents didn't do that.
Well, let me argue with you for a second. So there's one of the world's most famous parenting books. I think it came out in 1982. I was 4 years old. I think the book is called something like How to Speak to Your Kids So They Really Listen and Listen So They Really Speak. It's something like that. It came out in 1982. So I don't think my parents read that book.
Have you read that book? Let me ask you, have you read that book?
One of my sponsors is short form. So I just I just read the book on short form.
Is
And
it still relative today?
it is. It's very popular still today. Now, I think my book and my courses are better than that. They're more updated.
Well, you have a
But
couple extra decades of learning than
yes,
back in the early '80s.
but yes.
What to teach?
So I'm arguing with you. Yeah, just because your parents maybe didn't talk to you that way, this isn't a new concept. This isn't a new thing. The book came out in 1982, but think about this. Can you imagine your ancestors growing up whatever country that they were in? They're in this communal livings. Let's go even go back in time. They're meeting around the campfire every night. We're talking like dozens of people around a campfire, or they're living together next to nieces and nephews, godparents, grandma, grandpa.
It
Like
takes a village.
they didn't have screens. They shared
Right.
their life. They put children in the ground together. They hurt together. They raised a frame. They raised kids together. They had a farm together. They were humans together. So it's a lot harder to show your kids your humanity today in 2023 or 24, whenever you're listening to this, versus back then, man. We have a lot of distractions. The dehumanization of the parent figure is a major freaking problem in our society. You want to change the world? Well, that is one way you change the world. How do we humanize the parent figure and help kids and parents be close and emotionally connected? Boom, dude, I'm getting fired up.
I've been thinking we're all disconnected in the way of take the kids to the bus stop. They are gone for half the day. Then they go to sports after. You don't see them till dinner time. And so back then you were together all day long doing work together. Yeah. And I was actually going to try and bring them and be like, man, it's actually teaching my kids the more hobbies I have and the more things I do for myself, the more they see like, where's dad going? What's he doing? And they're seeing me take care of myself in a way, and it gets them interested. And so the fact that we've disconnected, I remember when I was living in Austin, Texas, I had a mentor there briefly in that stage of my life where his daughters were like 6 and 8 years old. They were homeschooled. They worked for his company, and they were together all the time. And he was constantly teaching them. They were constantly seeing what kind of work their parents were doing. Right now, my kids don't know. They know I wake up and I go to work at this time, but they don't see what I do every day because they're not with us every day. So I think that's what you're getting at. We're separated. And I don't know if you fix it by just, we're going to do the homeschool life now.
Well, no. I'm going to give you some different tools for that and how to use communication to build closeness and to get your kids to really listen and hear you. But here's some really interesting studies on the kids of single mothers. The research is very positive that children who are raised, believe it or not, despite what you've heard, by single mothers, or that the kids can do very, very well. Now, think of this. Think of a mother who's a widow. Okay, think of a mother. The children might be struggling, but the children might not be struggling. What I've seen in my 24 years of work with your sons and daughters is that if there's a single mother and she's really hurting and she's really sad and her kids see their sadness, oftentimes, not in all situations, Jordan, the kids are like very caring and loving towards their mother. They really care about their mom and they listen to her.
Is that because they can see how hurt she is and the family is, so they're experiencing that feeling together, so they want to step up to the plate?
Exactly, right. They really see their parents, their mom's hurting heart. I know of a family I'm thinking of right now, and the mother was dying of a disease. She's probably passed away now. And the dad was just doing an excellent job of showing his humanity to his children. He wasn't hiding it from them. And the kids saw their dad, and they saw his vulnerability and his humanism, and they cared, and they loved, and they responded, and they stepped up, dude. They stepped up. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I could totally visualize that right now because I would do the same thing. Who wouldn't? You see the person taking care of you struggling.
Right. I mean, this is what we were doing.
Step up.
When my ancestors were living in Ireland, and I wasn't there, but like my great-great-grandfather was there, and like you see your family hurting, and the potato famine, or maybe you're just sick of eating potatoes, or maybe somebody dies, and you're there. You're in a village. It's like you can't just like ignore that pain. It's there, but we have so many distractions with these stupid screens and all the ways the Disney Channel portrays parents as these total idiots and these bozos. You want to see the dehumanization of the parent figure, just watch a Disney Channel comedy. And then you even throw in this. How about this? Why are we so attracted to zombie movies? This is kind of deep. This is my opinion. What are zombies?
I love zombie movies.
Zombies are things that they're creatures that kind of look like humans. They used to be human, but they're not human. And you're supposed to kill them. And you're not supposed to feel bad about it. It's like, this is like how our kids see us. They see us, these zombies. They're just supposed to be there to serve them and to take care of them. And we did this to ourselves, though. That's the thing. We did this to ourselves, and I want to show you some skills on how to reverse it.
Well, good, because I understand we've done this to ourselves, society, whatever. But this is the era we live in. This is the time where people go to work, kids go to school. Maybe, we are separated. So now we got to figure out how to bring it back to a healthy home and not a blowing off steam home.
Steam. Everyone's got steam. We all got steam, but the home is a place to learn about how to manage our steam. And let me tell you a story that's just on the tip of my head about my friend Mike. Mike is one of my good friends, and he was in my house just 2 days ago. And I want to tell you a story, and I want to see how you respond to it. Now, when you think of like traditional firemen, you have a picture in your head of a fireman. What does he look like?
Burly, a stud,
stud, muscular,
loved. Yeah.
And what kind of, does he have any facial hair, or is he clean shaven? Does he have facial hair?
I got a clean shaven one in my head right now.
All right, dude. I think fireman. I just think Mike. Dude, Mike and my buddy Brandon, they have these sweet mustaches, dude. Dude, firemen and their mustaches. I'm so jealous, dude.
The stash is coming back.
Dude, they look, because they're not allowed to have any of their facial hair. So these guys rock this stash, man. I saw this one guy at the market, he had short shorts on, big old legs, and he had this incredible mustache. And you know what and I almost said to him, like, dude, save some ladies for the rest of us, man. It was so, dude, I was like, I'm not gay, but dude, like, if I was gay, I'd be into firemen. That sounds gay, but I just think, like, I just want that mustache because my mustache is not that good. My wife won't even let me grow it out because you won't kiss me, and she says I look like a porn star when I have that, dude. But you probably, I've seen you. No, you can, dude. No, you actually kind of have one right now, man. Yeah, you can.
Okay, let's say I'm not allowed to grow one the same as you are not allowed to grow one.
Yeah, she's not going to kiss you. So that's a no-brainer. Plus my mustache might have grain and now it's embarrassing. So imagine Mike. Now, in all the positive ways, if I was in a fire, if I needed help, I would want Mike to be there. I mean, he is very strong. He's stocky. He played football. He's so strong that I'm a pretty good chicken fighter in the pool. Like, I'm good. I'm tall. I'm lanky. I'm strong. We went camping together once and we would put chicken fight. And dude, that guy took me down, man. He took me down because it's just the leverage. And I feel upset about that. So Mike, if you're listening to this, I want a rematch because you just dominated me at the chicken fighting. And it's like in a place of crisis, you would want this guy, Mike, to be there for you. You got a vision in your head, everybody. Love firemen. Shout out to all my buddies.
I see you semi-drowning in the pool while Mike's sitting there with his stash, smiling, smirking in the distance.
Now, just like nobody is a perfect parent, I think that Mike probably struggles in parenting sometimes, just like I struggle. He snaps sometimes. He says aggressive things. I mean, he's a hero. He's a fireman. I mean, right? That's what he's probably tending toward. He does more. Firemen are very orderly. They're very organized. They like seeing a certain way. So it can actually be tough being a child to a fireman or a police officer or a spouse to one of them. Have you heard about this concept before?
No. Why?
Oh, it's like a well-known thing. Being spouses of a first responder or a fire or police or military.
Because of the mental challenges of what they, yes. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were going a different angle with that. Yeah. I mean, the stuff they see, my uncle's a firefighter and kudos to him. I have him tell me some of these stories. And I'm like, man, how do you keep smiling every day after what you go through? It's amazing what they go through.
Well, but not only that, what's also more challenging is that the way they think is very orderly. It's very structured and disciplined. So then they bring that home and they're married to somebody who doesn't think the same way. And their kids don't think the same way. I mean, they're leaving messes. and they have irregular time schedules. Firemen are normally very timely. But here's the story of Mike. I look at Mike, and we had a graduation party for my daughter Maddie. She's 18. She's graduated high school, and Mike came with his 2 sons and his lovely wife. We're close with this family. You got a picture now?
Yeah.
Now, what was Mike doing? Was he standing up yelling at the TV as the basketball game was on? No. Was Mike going around telling loud stories? No. He does that sometimes because he's a fireman. Does Mike take his shirt off and show everybody, his muscles?
Jeez.
No, I'm just being
Sean's
weird
like,
right now.
you're like, I wish.
You know how Mike spent this party? Oh, dude. All right. I think can we just delete that part of the podcast? No, we haven't edited one thing in this podcast. We're not going to start now. You know what this dude, how this man spent his party? He spent his party. First of all, he didn't drink any alcohol, which I don't know why, but that's cool. He sat, and his 9-year-old son sat on his lap, and this kid snuggled with his dad for like most of the party. And when you think of this kid is an excellent athlete. He's about probably 9, and he plays sports. He's got the long hair, like a baseball player has those mullets now with that long hair. Really amazing kid, strong alpha male kid. And this kid sat on his dad's lap during a graduation party.
I was not expecting that. Wow.
Why? I haven't even told Mike about this, but I observed this because this is what I do. I notice these little things that people may not notice, maybe everyone notice. But why would a 9-year-old boy who could have been out playing my laser tag or running in the woods by my house, which is cool. He did some of that, jumping on my trampoline. He snuggled with his dad, his alpha male dad, who at times can be a little aggressive, a little harsh with his sons. Because, hey, whatever, no big deal. Why did he do that? What do you think? I don't know why, so we're just guessing.
I don't know why either, but I'm looking at this and I'm like, that's kind of the perfect scenario every father wants to be in. You got a kid who's almost turning 10 who still melts in your arms and still can be your little 3-year-old boy that you knew for so many years ago. I mean, he obviously looks up to his dad.
His older son does it too. His older son is going into the 6th grade. He does it too.
So
he snuggles up with his dad sometimes.
Great relationship with his kids. Maybe something was going on with the kids. I don't know.
I don't think anything was going on with the kids. I think that these kids see their dad's humanity. They see his heart. They see his vulnerability. I think Mike shares his feelings with his kids. And I don't think Mike was raised this way. And I don't think he goes around sharing feelings with the guys with the fire engine, right? He has learned how to be the lion and the lamb. And he's learned how to show his humanity to his children. And his kids see him as a human being, and they feel safe with him. And that's what we're trying to focus on here today.
I want that. Anybody listening, raise your hand who wants that. I see everybody raising their hands. We all want that. So, I mean, go ahead.
No, you go.
I'm just going to say, like, what do we do now to get that? How do we speak to our kids now so they can hear our heart, where we can feel confident enough to share our feelings with them and to know that our kids will care for all that?
I have come up with 4 tips that I want to share with you. And if you're looking for more tips in this, please come see me on my website, subscribe, see me on a one-on-one session. We can do some role playing or join one of my Zoom courses. I got 4 for you here today. And I've been teaching these tips for a long time. These are proven 5-star. This is like some of my secret sauce. I'm kind of giving it away here on the podcast. I'm so passionate about what I'm about to teach. And I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but I really want to empower you and gift you with this knowledge that I've learned. Are you ready, Jordan?
Yes.
What I've learned?
Fire away.
How do we speak to our kids so they really hear our hearts and they care for it? They see us. Here's something I've learned. Action step number 1 is set up the heart-to-heart. Set up the heart-to-heart. Let me explain. Many of us parents, we do a lot of reactive parenting where we just start talking to our kids. We start yelling at them. We snap, remind, we rescue, we avoid, we drink, we watch TV. We go on TikTok, Instagram. But what I found is that if you go to your kids and you say something like this, hey, can we have a heart to heart? Can we have a heart talk? Hey, can I talk to you about something that's on my heart? Hey, can I talk to you about something that I'm feeling recently? And we don't just start talking, but we set it up. It's like talking about talking. Then it's a very good decision.
What about something like, hey, can I tell you something that's bothering me?
Yeah, now that sounds good. But which party would you rather go to? A party that says, hey, come to this party and I'm going to tell you what bothers me. Or a party that says, hey, I'd love to chat with you about some things on my heart. Which party would you rather
Yeah.
attend?
Yeah. That's the softer touch, the touch
Right?
that,
Little sugar and
yes.
spice on it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm feeling so pissed off at you. You freaking
Right.
kid. I'm so angry. Can we set up a
Right.
time to talk?
Right.
Versus, hey, I noticed the garbage is not empty. And I asked you about that. I'd love to chat with you about that when you're ready. Which one would you, right?
Right. Yeah. It just sounds like a step that I would not, I'd just be like, hey, I asked you to take out the trash.
Yeah.
You haven't taken out the trash. Can you please take out the trash?
Now, let's talk about Mike because I love Mike, really respect him. If Mike was a different man, it was 1985, and he was hearing this podcast, you know what probably Mike would say? What the hell is this? This is some hippie crap. What the heck? I'm not going to ask my kids to talk.
Right.
I'm a freaking man. My kids want to talk.
Exactly.
Right? They talk. We talk when I want to talk. Right?
That's why I'm saying in the beginning, it's counterintuitive to do this. This is not like what you would think as a manly response, or even
Right.
if you're a mom, a motherly response. We react.
Let me blow your mind for a second. Your son's name is Caden. One of your sons' name is Caden. When Caden is a 30, I think you're 35. You're 35. 35-year-old.
36.
How old are you?
I think
When he's 36, do you realize that there's a chance that if he were to listen to this podcast, he will say, no, Dad, that's not counterintuitive. This is natural for me. Can you imagine that?
No, I can't imagine that.
Okay.
That's amazing if that
deep.
could be the case. That's deep.
So how do we parent Caden right now so that this is just more natural for him, right? So that he doesn't have to rewire his parenting or his brain. This is like what we're doing right now. Isn't this deep?
Yeah.
It's like
neuroplasticity, rewiring our thought process on what we should be doing.
Right, because if you start using this tool and you make this more often in your house, then it'll become his normal. And then he'll parent this way, right?
So if I got upset in the moment, I reacted because I'm still working on the process. All of us are of not reacting. But let's say we did react. Yeah. Later, we come back. Would it be okay to say, obviously, hey, can we have a heart talk about what happened? Or is it okay to say, hey, can I tell you why I got upset?
For sure. Yep. These are all like really great soft openers. It's like, hey, can we do a redo about what happened? Or, hey, we kind of got tangled up before. Can we do a restart? And I just really share some feelings with you. Just here's like kind of what we're talking about here is boundaries. You heard me talk a lot about this. We'll do more episodes on that. No one's going to come into my home office right now and just start talking. Why? Because they care about my feelings, because they know that I have a boundary here. I don't have a lock on my office. No one ever interrupts me. Even the 6-year-old, even when she was 4, she didn't, because she understands boundaries. So here's the thing. You really want to help your kids see your humanity. Honor their boundaries before you start talking to them. Help them see you have boundaries, I have boundaries, and we don't just start talking. And think of it like this little like, hey, can we talk? It's almost like a little knock on the office door. You don't want someone barging into your office and start talking to you about your feelings. If you work, you don't want your spouse just calling you up at any hours and be like, hey, we have to talk right now. Right. So I'm trying to help you put yourself in a position of success. And here's another way of thinking about this. Jordan, have you heard me say this before? Connection before correction.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think
want
that
to connect?
Means? Connection before
correction.
We
want to connect with, I was going to say my tip would be to do this talk like during bedtime, because during the week it's chaos, right? I mean, you got soccer games, you got school, you got work, you're making dinner, getting lunches ready. Maybe you get a workout in if you're lucky, and then it's bedtime before you know it. And so depending on how your bedtime routine is, we have moments where we just kind of put every child to bed, sit with them in their bed for a couple minutes, and basically just have this connection without asking for it. We're putting them
Yeah.
to bed, and
Yeah.
we, in that moment, they're not hyped up on sugar, they're calm, and that's when we kind of have
Yeah,
some of our
buddy.
heart talks about it.
Right. So yeah, you want to use these skills in a wise way. Connection before corrections. And one of the ways you can build a great connection is by asking, "Hey, can we talk? Is this a good time?" Remember, because teaching moments, they don't really ever happen in the moment. So we want to look for these moments to properly humanize ourselves. And that's kind of something we need to talk about for a second before we come on. Many parents, many adults, I don't know if you're aware of this, they were really really manipulated by their own parents, Jordan, as in their parents would like guilt them or shame them, or they would say things like, "You make me so sad," or "You ruin my day," or "You make me so stressed," or "You're the reason why I'm sick." And they
Oh,
would
that's
like
awful.
use their
That's
feelings
terrible.
to manipulate their children, to
Yeah,
get them
that's
to,
awful.
this
No
is
one
like a
wants to hear
common
that.
thing. I'm not an expert in teaching about this because I wasn't raised this way, and I haven't even like done. I could do more reading about it, but this is like a thing, man. It's like a huge deal.
I would assume this is obviously not just for the kid to parent relationships, but to the parent to parent relationship too. This manipulation and this throwing my feelings over here to make you feel this way. And I don't know where that comes from, especially if you didn't grow up like that. If that's just kind of like this weird thing we've created, or if it stems from like a
Right.
longer, time frame back in the day, we used to be like this, to kind of not allow our heart to be open, to maybe create like a barrier, right?
Right.
But to do that with your kid, that's
Right.
terrible.
It's terrible. It's super common. Like I was talking, with a buddy even recently, and he was venting to me about how he wants to go and tell this, tell his mom this one thing, but he's like, I can't talk to her because if I were to do it, she just totally plays the victim card. Like, oh, I'm a
Right.
horrible person. I can't do anything right. And you make me feel like such a bad mom. And so it makes me wonder, these parents that have done this to their kids, did they learn it from their parents? Ooh, right. Where did they learn this from? And this is why we don't want to do. So what you're about to hear in step 2 is, I want to show you a few words. Action step number 2, how do we get your kids to listen to you, is share your feelings with your kids. It's it. Very simple.
Share your feelings with your kids.
So what is a heart talk? It's not a head talk. You share your feelings with your kids. Can I give you more details? I
Yeah,
have
because I'm
learned.
trying to think right now. I'm trying to think of like a common, you didn't take the trash out. So my heart to heart talk might not be very deep. It might just be like, hey, in this family, we all need to participate. We all need to help each other out because we all have so much going on and we need your help. And I do things I don't want to do. And I know
See,
taking the trash out's not good for you. You don't like it, but I don't like doing the dishes, but I do that so that we can live in a clean house. Is that the direction
and I
I need to
like
go
what
in
you
this heart to heart
said.
talk, or I need to go deeper?
Well, I like what you said there. I mean, it's nice, had empathy, but it also kind of sounded like a little pep talk and a little lecture. It didn't sound like you're really speaking from your heart.
Okay.
So let me add to your toolbox another tool. Hey, son, can we have a heart to heart real quick about something? Can
Right.
you be your son? Be him real quick.
Yes. Sure. Yes.
Hey, I'm feeling pretty uncomfortable about what's going on with something. I wanted to share my feelings with you. Is this a good time?
Sure.
You sure?
Yeah.
I can wait. We can wait for another time if it's better.
What's wrong, Dad?
So, hey, I already asked you to empty the garbage. That was 30 minutes ago, and it's still there. And I just want you to know that really hurts my feelings.
Sorry, I forgot.
Right. I know you probably forgot. I figured you'd say that, but do you understand? Like, this really hurts me. Hurts my feelings.
Why? It's just the trash.
Right.
Have Emery do it.
Yeah, I feel like kind of confused when you don't empty the trash.
You're confused? What are you confused about?
Yeah.
I just forgot to empty
Now
the
make sure
trash.
make sure your face lines up with the words you're sharing.
Okay.
Let's take a pause. I've only shared a few words with my son so far. What are those words? Let's see if you're
Can we have a
listening.
heart talk?
So
I'm
what feeling
confused.
words? So I shared. What feeling
I'm
words did
conf-
I share? Confused is one. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Shoot, I can't remember if you said you're not hurt. I
I
can't. I
did. Yep.
blacked out.
Hurt.
What
I
you
did.
did
I
say
said
hurt?
it
Okay,
hurts. Hurts my
it hurts.
feelings.
Okay.
Hurts my feelings and confused and uncomfortable. So if
Oh,
you're
that's right.
taking notes
Okay.
at home, here's what I've discovered. In my opinion, the six of the best words to ever share with your kids are these 6 words. If you're writing this down, take them out and tell me how it goes. Hurt would be one. Number 2, hurt my feelings. Number 3, sad. I feel sad. Number 4, confused. Number 5 is disconnected. And number 6 is one of the world's greatest words. I love this word so much. It's such a great word. It's such an inviting word. The word is uncomfortable. I've
But
actually
let's go. Okay, hold on a second. Slow your roll,
yeah.
Mr. Sean
Bring
Donohue.
it. Bring
These
this.
are
Bring it.
very these are very deep words. Okay, this is the trash. Let's say they didn't take their shoes up to their bedroom. You're not going to feel hurt that they
No,
didn't bring their shoes up.
no, you're not.
Disconnected. It's like
But
they just forgot to bring their shoes up, and maybe you're hurt because they forgot, and they're disrespecting you, and that's where the hurt comes from.
I like your rebuttal. I love your rebuttal. Now, instead of me defending myself, let's stay in character with the garbage and let's see where this role playing goes. This is totally improvisation, everybody. Can we stay in character and I'll try to defend myself?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on, Dad. What's the big
so
deal?
you're
I
gonna
didn't take the trash out.
That's exactly what any child should be saying. Now, before I rebuttal this, why would a child be saying this over a trash? That you're hurt or feeling confused? It's the why? Why would a child, any normal teenager or a child would be saying this? Why?
Because it's the trash. It's no big deal. They don't think that it's going to be hurting your feelings or making you all disconnected to them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I wouldn't. Like if your spouse were to come up to you and be like, "Man, I really told you to get the car washed today. And I just feel so disconnected because you didn't take the car and get it washed." Like I just
you're doubling down, and I'm going to try to change your mind right now. And if I fail at it, you let me know. And if I succeed, you let me know. Okay. So in the parent world, would you say having your kids do chores is important to you, Jordan?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because it gets them ready for the real world. We are training them to be, take care of themselves.
Okay, so what is chores about? Chores is about training them to get ready for the real world. What else is chores about? I'll tell you right now, chores is not about chores. Emptying the garbage has nothing to do with emptying the garbage.
Correct.
What else is it about?
It's about teaching them to follow through with something.
Okay, yep. Self-control and following through. What else is chores about? Empty the garbage. The stinky garbage with the chicken in there. The chicken skin. What else is it about? And it stinks.
Being a participant. Let's say you're in a society. You're helping out. You're in this family. You are helping out.
Number 3 is teamwork. It's teamwork. Chores is about teamwork. Yes?
Responsibility.
So chores is now about 4 things in the man world, and we're just getting started. Chores is not a big deal. Who are you talking to? You ain't talking to me. Chores is a freaking huge deal to me because chores is not about chores. In fact, research shows if you give your kids daily chores, they are higher percentage of being a successful adult. And chores is
add to the list, ladies and gentlemen. Add to that. Make that chore list very long. Add to the list. We want to have
daily chores.
Kids in society.
Chores is about hygiene as well, because if you have an animal in the house, or they might be sniffing the garbage, or they could be, or it could smell. Right?
Could you say chores is about respect for yourself and for others?
So does your child, I say yes, but let's go deeper. Let's take respect is kind of an overused words. Do your kids care about having an empty garbage can? What do you think? They're 9. Their twins are 9. Do they care about it? Would they be fine if it was an overflowing garbage can?
Actually, no, they probably notice it and be like, Dad, the trash is full.
So let's just say that I think you'd agree with me. Yeah, they wouldn't want an overflowing trash can, but they're not like going to get all butthurt about it, right?
Right.
About a full garbage can. That's not in their top 100 priorities. But
No.
it is for us because that's the one scenario, that's the first thing that came to your mind, was emptying the garbage, right? And it's just a metaphor for chores. It could be cleaning the cat box. It could be, it could be so many things. In fact, this is actually not about chores. This could be about any topic, by the way, including brushing your teeth or doing your studies. So see, in the parent world, Jordan, chores is a big deal, man. And we're highly connected to chores. If
and
your
you
kid
sold me.
is not
You sold me on
yes!
chores. Okay.
Yeah, buddy. I didn't know. I thought I was going to be embarrassed on our number 14.
No,
in
you
the
sold
world
because
podcast.
you're right. Because chores aren't about
Yeah,
chores,
dog.
and that's the deeper thing that I wasn't thinking about. Taking out the trash, it's NBD. It's no big deal. You forgot to take the trash. Take out the friggin' trash, okay?
Yeah,
but
bruh.
it's not about the chore. It's about
So
the
watch where I go.
responsibility.
Okay, now stay in character. Now back in character. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, it kind of hurts that I asked my son to empty the garbage and he didn't enter it. Stay in a normal character you're just in. Now dehumanize me and say it's not a big deal. Say that.
Dad, it's not a big deal. It's just the trash. Go take it out right now.
Okay, so now my buttons are pushed and I got a choice. Am I going to do stupid parenting or am I going to stay in my lane and really help my kids see my humanity over the garbage? Okay.
Do it tomorrow. Do it when you wake up. I'll do it when I wake up, Dad. I don't want to do it right now.
I don't know if you're really hearing me. I really want to feel heard. What do you hear me saying, son?
That I need to listen?
This is a great way to teach active
I don't
listening.
think that was good.
Right there.
I don't think
you're
hearing me.
Slowing it down. I'm feeling unheard. See, we're not talking about him. We're not speaking from our head. We're just sharing our own feelings. We're staying in our own garden is what I say. I don't know if I'm...
You're mad, Dad. You're mad that I didn't take out the trash.
No, I'm not mad at all.
You're upset. You're hurt.
Upset. It hurts. And I feel confused because what should I do? Should I remind you a second time? Should I yell? Should I threaten? Should I do it myself? I don't know what to do because
I just forgot. I'll do it tomorrow.
Right. Right. So what do you hear me saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
You are saying you're hurt that I didn't take the trash out. I'm telling you, I'll take it out tomorrow.
Right, but I appreciate you saying that, but that's not what I want to do right now. I really want you to hear me, and I want to feel known. So can I continue?
Okay.
I don't know if you knew this about me, but how my kids do their chores really affects me.
Why?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's what they should be asking, right? See, they're locked in. You see that tone? You're locked in. Why? And that's what they should be asking. Why? Why are you being so dramatic over this? Drama much? You need a counselor. You're hurt? You need to go to therapy. That's what some salty teens would say. Yeah, thanks for asking. It's because a lot of reasons. Now you're going to be tempted to go into a lecture here. I just think that I want to raise kids who feel like I'm on a team with them and they really care about this family. And when you don't do the garbage, it hurts because it puts me in the space where, like, what do I do? What do I say? It really affects me and I don't know what to say.
Pause for a second. This is good because I think I've been in a situation like this before, but I've taken it to where I've tried to explain why I want to be on this team and we should all do our part. But this is a good moment because you're trying to let the child come up with an answer. Okay, we can go back in.
I was loving your efforts from like earlier when we started because it was a very kind way of explaining from your head, but that's not what we're doing here. We are speaking from our heart. There's a time and place to speak from your head. If you really want to see things majorly change in your parenting, when it comes to these sensitive topics or these cycles, speak from your heart because you can argue with someone speaking from their head, but you can't argue with someone who's speaking from their heart. If you were to say to me, well, why do you change? Why do you care so much about the garbage? It's not a big deal. You're not going to convince me to change, because this is how I am as a 44-year-old man. I care about the garbage, and I care about my kids doing their freaking few chores that they have and not being on a screen. And I don't care
Right.
what you say or what stupid some dumb therapist tells me. I don't care. I want my kids to thrive with certain things, and this is how you go about it. Speaking from your heart in a very vulnerable way. Help them see your humanity. So let's continue. So, and again, this might seem like this is like a 20-minute long conversation. That's only because me and Jordan are doing our color commentary. This is going to be like a 2-minute conversation. Maybe a little longer if they're teenager or older. And remember, we're never doing a hard talk. We only talk about 10 to 20 seconds at a time. It should feel like a ping pong ball, little snippets. One person's the speaker, one's the listener. Right now, I have permission to be the speaker. So, son, do you see how this is hard for me when you don't empty the garbage?
Yes, because you want us to be a team player, and I didn't do my part. Is it okay if I do it tomorrow? Can I do it tomorrow?
Well, no. Now watch. I'm being tempted constantly now to take the bait, and some kids will be arguing about defending or picking on you, and you'll be tempted to take the bait if you know what I'm talking about. Now, no, I think it would mean a lot for me. I mean, I would feel a lot better if you were to do it right now.
Well, I don't want to do it right now. I'm in bed.
Right. Well. Okay. Well, do you care about now? This is where you want to, where you're in bed. Don't say you're in bed. Just say,
okay.
I'm
Okay.
tired.
I don't want to do it right now. Yeah.
Now you're at the fine line where you're going to get close to the line. And if you cross this line, you're manipulating a child or you're abusing them. And I'm not going to cross that line. And I don't even want to get near that line. But saying, look, son, you agreed that this is your job, right? You understand that this is part of your daily job, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you understand now that you hurt our feelings and you hurt the family dynamic when you don't do your job? Do you get that?
Yeah. I just forgot. Sorry.
Right, but I really want to get through to you on this because we're emotion coaching our child now on the emotional ramifications of them not doing their job. And I could go into a lecture here, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to stay in my lane. So do you care about the family?
Yes.
I know you do. Do you care about my feelings?
Yes. Actually, my kid would probably just shrug his shoulders, but for this case, yes.
Well, in the beginning, but if you keep using this tool, your kids will not shrug their shoulders. So I know you care. So I was hoping, you ready for tip number 3?
Yes.
Okay. It might sound a little weird to you. If this is 1985, and this might sound very, very weird to us. Invite your kids to show you care and comfort. How do you talk to your kids so they listen to you and hear you? Now, this is a pretty wild tip I just shared. It's pretty wild.
So you would ask them, like,
watch this. Hey, would you mind saying some things to help me feel better or showing me some care?
Oh, jeez. Sorry, I had to break character there. Wow. Okay. Right. So we're going even farther.
It sounds pretty.
Yes,
sounds pretty weird.
It sounds weird. Yes, it does.
It sounds weird, but would it be weird for a wife? Would it be weird for a wife to turn to her husband and say, "Yeah, I'm just really hurting right now. I really would love some comfort." Would that be weird?
No, but if she said, I would really love it if you told me how much you care about me, that might be weird because then you're kind of forcing them to tell you how they care.
You're not forcing. You're not forcing. You're just asking. So, it's something, you're emotion coaching them. How do you, let's say your kid would say, "I'm sorry." So here, go back and just say, "I'm sorry, Dad. I'll do better."
I'm sorry, Dad. I won't forget tomorrow. I promise.
Thank you. Apologizing. Would you mind saying a couple other things to kind of help me feel better through this?
Yeah, I mean, I said I'm sorry. I'll take out the trash tomorrow, and I won't forget next time.
Okay. Yeah. That means a lot to me. Can you give me your word as a man that this is something that you're really going to work on?
My word?
Yeah. I mean, you're 9. I'm raising you to be a young man.
Yes, you have my word. But I mean, Dad, what if I forget again? I'm not going to forget, but what if I forget?
All right, let's work on that together. What do you need to do so you don't forget? Because I don't want to be reminding you or yelling at you. Would you like that? Would you like me to give you
No.
discipline? Right. So see how this is how you do the trash really affects me and it affects everyone in the house. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And so if your child was old enough, and 9 is definitely old enough, let me try to raise the bar. So, son, do you know what empathy is?
No.
Okay.
Sympathy. We just learned about sympathy in school. What's empathy?
Empathy is just like kind of like trying to feel with other people, like helping people to know that you really care about their feelings and you have empathy for what they're feeling. It means like it doesn't mean you feel what they feel. It means like you're trying to feel what they feel. It's like you're just trying to connect with what they feel. Would you
Okay.
mind trying to show me some empathy right now?
What do you mean? You
You
want
don't
me
have
to
to.
feel what you feel?
Yeah. So no, so Jordan, who's going to teach our sons and daughters about empathy?
We are
Are they ever going to
parents.
take a class in empathy?
No, they will not.
So
We've got to be
see,
the ones to tell them.
teaching moments don't happen in the moment, but you could teach your kid about empathy by showing them a YouTube video or having them read a paragraph on empathy from Wikipedia, or you can take it in a moment like this.
In a real life situation. Yeah, because this will connect deeper. Understanding.
So, action step number 4 is invite your kids to make amends. To make amends. So, let's cue up the script and just say, I'm really sorry, Dad. Say that.
I'm really sorry, Dad. I won't forget.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I was hoping that maybe you could, help me feel better. Would you be open to that?
How?
Yeah, well, if you ever hurt someone's feelings, sometimes just saying I'm sorry is not enough. It's not like a magic wand. You just
Well, I
wave
mean,
it.
what else do you
And
want me to do? I won't do it again. I'm sorry.
so yeah, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. This has been a really good conversation. I feel a lot better. Thank you. But I was hoping maybe, could you think of some things? What can you do to make it up to me or make things right?
I won't go on YouTube for a week. That's probably what he
No,
would say.
no,
I'm
no,
teasing. I just brought it that
no.
direction.
I know. I don't
I
want
know.
you. No, that's not connected, son. No, you love your YouTube, and that's okay. We don't want to take that away. But how can you think about that, son? When you hurt someone's feelings, what do you do to make it right? To make
You
amends,
say you're sorry.
right? That's good, but there's a lot more things you can do, like a million things you can do. And I'm just asking you, can you think of some things?
I'll take the trash out tomorrow. I won't forget.
But you're already doing that.
Um,
You're already taking the trash out tomorrow, right? So what can you do now to make it up for what happened here? Right?
right.
Do you want me to?
Yes.
Could you? And then if they're young, you can give them some ideas. I actually just did this just yesterday. My daughter, 6-year-old, she lost her temper and she hit me 4 times on the forearm. And I did the same exact thing because she wanted what she wanted. I wasn't able to give her what she wanted. She lost her temper and she hit me 4 times over and over. So I did everything that you said here. And then she came and she was saying she was sorry. And then I said the same thing. That was a little different because she's 6. So it was a little bit more childish. And she said, how can I help you feel better?
She said that.
A 6-year-old said that to me.
Wow.
So here's another tip. You could say, son, would you mind saying this to me? How can I help you feel better?
How can I help you feel better?
Thank you. You know what? How about, what something that would help me feel better is I'm gonna clean the leaves in the backyard tomorrow. Would you mind helping me with that?
Yeah, I'll do that. I can do that.
Or how about this? This is what I did with my 6-year-old. Could you write me a little note saying you're sorry for hitting?
Okay.
She said, no, I don't want to. I don't want to
Right.
write. I've been writing so many notes. So
Right.
that's okay. That's okay. Well, can you do something else? She's like, well, what else can I do? And I have a foot injury right now from playing basketball. So I said, my foot really hurts. Would you mind bringing me a snack from the fridge so I don't have to get up? She says, yes. Yes. So she brings me.
Manipulating.
No, it's not manipulating. See,
Just
this is
teasing.
where
I'm totally
no.
teasing.
No, it's
I
good that
know.
you said that, because for some parents, they're so abused by their parents
Yeah.
growing up. They feel like I'm uncomfortable with this entire conversation.
Yeah.
I don't need my kids to help me feel better. No, my kids are not responsible for my emotions. I'm inviting my kids into the process of reconciliation and caring, because here is how we're going to close today before we do attitude of gratitude. Jordan, if we can teach your 3 children how to really hear their dad's heart when he says that I feel sad or hurt, and we can teach your kids how to show kindness and care, empathy, validation, and they don't see their dad as a robot, and they reconcile and make amends for their dads, and they're only 9, what is that going to mean for their life?
They're going to be one wise SOB.
I think that's the only parenting podcast in the top 100 that calls the kids that, dude. What are they going to be like when they're 14 and they're a freshman in high school if they have the ability, these high-level EQ skills? What are they going to be like when they're 14, Jordan, if you use these tools?
Popular, liked. People are going to enjoy to be around them. People are going to learn from them. They're going to be good, well-rounded human beings.
Yeah, buddy, because parents are teachers and every home's a school. So how do you speak to your child so they really hear your heart? Very simple. 4 steps that I taught you here today, and I can go way deeper. These are just like surface level steps. If you'd like to go deeper, one is you set up the heart to heart. You don't just barf your feelings onto people. You wait for the right time. Number 2 is you share your feelings with your kids, and you do it in very wise and appropriate ways. No one can make you feel anything. You share your feelings in appropriate ways. Step 3 is you invite your kids to show you care and comfort. I know, very mind-blowing for some of us. And number 4, you invite them to make amends. And that will teach them so many things about human connection and about trust and about care and about how to have an amazing home.
I love it. Thank you for those tips, brother. That was fun little
dude,
situation we went through, and I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that.
Thank you for bringing up the real life role playing, and thank you for like kind of being the devil's advocate in this, because I think that's really helpful that you were like, this doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? What, you know what I mean?
Well, it didn't until you said chores aren't about chores. I'm like, yo, he's so right. They're not about chores. It's about so much more.
It's about love. One of the best ways, one of the most practical ways that a child can show love for their family and their parents is by excelling in their chores. It's true. I can't speak for every parent out there, but it's a practical thing that we nerd out on. Chores.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so proud when I see my kids just doing their chores. Yesterday, I have a foot injury. I asked my 18-year-old, hey, I really can't walk down the driveway to do the garbages tonight. Can you help me out? Can you do this? And she was like, yeah. And she did it with excellence. Just right there.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I mean, because I can't even walk. My foot is in so much pain. And like, it was so loving. I feel so loved by her because she did my chore for me, which is bringing the garbages down the curb. You know what I mean? So I'm just grateful. That's my attitude of gratitude right there. I'm just so grateful to have an 18-year-old who cares about my feelings and sees me, because I am imperfect. I have struggles. I make mistakes. And she sees my humanity and she accepts me, and I love her. Her name is Maddie, and I'm really thankful for her. And she just graduated high school, and I'm so proud of her and the woman she is and the woman she is becoming. Close up beautiful. Our show.
Congratulations, Maddie. That's awesome. High school graduate. That's a big feat. So my attitude of gratitude is going to go off of that. I'm just so glad we're on the cusp of summertime, thankful for summertime. These kids don't have to go to school, so it's like we're speed dating, we're speed parenting. We have to be around each other all the dang time. We're forced to be better, and now we could use these tips and really excel day in and day out.
Please do me a favor, Jordan, share your feelings, share some of those 6 words with your kids. Do it real slow, let them really process it, and then come back in a future episode and tell me how they responded. Please. I beg
Will
you.
do, brother. That sounds good.
Thank you, everyone, for letting us share parenting and life with you. Much love to you all. Let's continue to change the world through how we love these kids.